trying to tell me that this Steven Universe looking show that parodies Sailor Moon, with the two main characters using their birth control and bong to fight monsters, is bad? Are you trying to tell me that it's not funny when they stick their fingers into the red panda's butthole? Honestly, I feel like I've just become numb to all of this madness. At this point, like, nothing in 2020 can shock me anymore. A lot of people, when they first heard of this plot, were like already cringing, but I just kind of rolled my eyes at it like, oh yeah, typical adult cartoon. If you actually look at a lot of adult cartoons, they are like really crazy and weird and made for people who are on drugs. It is very rare that I come across a new adult cartoon that I actually enjoy. Most of them, I know this might be a hot take, but most of them are trash. Of course, this will also be trash, but this is very unique trash because it's attempting to make fun of anime fans, which is interesting. I think a lot of political people and activists are kind of split into two sections when it comes to anime. There's the one side who thinks that anime is good, but it needs to be fixed to be better. Like, you need to clear out all of the stuff in anime that they don't like, and then anime will be good. And then there's the other side who just feels like all anime is trash and only white male incels watch anime. Because anime does do a decent job at like a lot of LGBT plus representation, but it is also not afraid to make these types of sex jokes that a lot of women might seem as sexist. They're not afraid to like play on fetishes. A lot of activists having a problem with that side of anime and therefore declaring that all anime is bad. So getting a little bit more into the history of Magic Girl Friendship Squad, terrible name, way too long and way too generic. The creator of this apparently had a short of the same name featuring these characters both looking white, pale white and tan, I should specify. And this little short that they did, Magic Friendship Squad Origins, it came out around, it's the same year it came out, 2020, and then immediately, bam, there's a whole series made for it. The creator actually doesn't have writing experience outside of this one story, it seems. It looks like she only worked on like the Magic Girl Friendship Squad Origin, writing that, and then writing the eventual series that came out of it, which makes sense because if you watch the series, it feels very much like it's written by someone who has no writing experience. And what I think that they did was they just had some people come on to kind of help guide the story, but they were also kind of hands-off, like afraid to offend or disturb the creator of the show. Apparently, she was also on Ballmaster's miscellaneous crew. She was an assistant, woo, and a producer for Visible Poetry Project. But yeah, it doesn't really seem like this girl had much experience, but she got a show on Sci-Fi. This one story is the only writing experience that she has, at the very least the only experience she has on her IMDb. She was a miscellaneous crew on Ballmasters and a producer of a poetry project, and I can imagine a lot of animators and writers who have been looking to get their own animated series looking at this and being really frustrated that this person, for whatever reason, cut the line. It seems like they don't have the experience to actually put together a show. They just got one somehow, while all these other people are constantly trying to pitch their shows, trying to pitch their animated series. I have more writing experience than her. But the main thing that people mention is like super disturbing about this show is the animation. The animation is like YouTube series levels. Actually, even that's kind of offensive because I've seen a lot of great YouTube animators who are 100% professionals and create much better shows than this. But like, look at this walk cycle, for example. Doesn't that just look weird? And that's such a basic thing to learn in animation, is how to do a smooth flowing walk cycle. In this, it practically looks like their legs are completely detached from the rest of their body. She doesn't even bounce up and down when she walks. I mean, look at this, look at this. Look at this person. This isn't animating, this is a slideshow. Look at this. She extends her hands outward, but her head is in the foreground, implying that she is further towards us. Look at the hand difference. It certainly looks like those hands should be going past her head. And there are a lot of great animators out there who don't have their own shows, who are looking at this and their eyes are bleeding. Now, I'm sure because of the pandemic, a lot of people are looking towards doing more animated stuff, which I'm all for. I love animated stuff. The idea of why they would be looking for more animated stuff is because the animators can work from home. But of course, animation also costs a good bit of money. So maybe the idea of why this looks so bad is because it's super cheap. Maybe it has the budget of an actual YouTube animated series. And these episodes are short too. This first one is only like 11 minutes. Basically how the first episode goes is this red panda named Nut chooses these two people to be her magical girls because she mistakenly believes that they are warriors after she randomly hears them making John Wick references. Not even John Wick 1, John Wick 2, specifically John Wick 2, and they're talking about it as if it just came out and they just watched it. Very dated, to say the least. So the idea is, oh haha, we ended up in this superhero position by mistake, but she has to work with us now because there's no way to undo it. So despite them being extremely incompetent girls, they have to save the world and destroy monsters and whatnot. And they're also very selfish, not very heroic people. I don't really like mean-spirited humor. I don't really like the idea of, oh haha, everyone's an asshole and it's funny. I think that asshole characters can be done right and can still be sympathetic characters that you as an audience root for, if written right. I don't think they did it right in this show, but you'll be happy to know that this girl is a lesbian and this girl takes birth control, so thank God they won't be reproducing. And then the villain that they actually fight is a weed monster, which is weird, because considering that one of the main character's weapons is a bong, you'd think that the weed monster would be on their side. Or you'd think that the fight would end by like her smoking the weed monster, or something funny like that. You know, something funny. But instead, it just ends with them like murdering the monster and therefore murdering the person who was turned into a monster. There's no, like, it doesn't revert back to her being her normal self again. But I guess the implication is because she wasn't very nice to them when she was a regular human, it's okay that they killed her. Because like as they're fighting her, they're making references to her not being nice to them. It's like they're taking out their anger. Fuck this bitch. She was mean to me when she was human. Now I'm allowed to kill her. That's basically it. That's the first episode. It doesn't sound too spectacular. The jokes feel very disjointed. The dialogue feels like babbling, and they also make very, very dated references. Later on in the show, they try to reference Gamergate. Even people involved in Gamergate don't talk about Gamergate anymore. They've all moved on to the next thing. So it seems like the only humor that people are getting out of the show is just the humor of it being a real show, and Sci-Fi thinking that it was a good idea. But you know, like I said before, I'm kind of just becoming numb to everything. I already expect bad shows to come from adult cartoons because it's not very often that I see an adult cartoon that's actually good. It is sad that there are people out there who deserve their own shows who aren't getting it, while other people with less experience do. It's all the more reason to not support companies that give people who aren't ready to have their own, clearly not ready to have their own show. You shouldn't be giving those people a show. Out of compassion, you shouldn't be giving those people a show, because all they're doing is embarrassing themselves. Honestly, the idea itself probably could have been funny if it was given to someone with writing experience. And it seems like the whole internet has a hate boner for this show. It's like, oh my god, it's so bad. Maybe that's part of the plan, you know, you got a lot of press for the show because everyone hates it. Now people are checking it out just to see how bad it is. And if this show is so cheap that it has the budget of like a YouTube animated series from the early 2000s, then maybe the hate clicks will help them make their money back. But anyway, let me know your own personal thoughts on the whole thing. If you enjoyed my little breakdown, remember to like the video. Thank you guys for watching as usual. I'll see you next time. Bye!
Program restart. Shutting down all systems.